I got a comment on last video by our friend here Pedro, and they said, for Victory Road, what position and element will my character be? And based on a lot of the videos I've made and characters I like and have spoken about, and even the entire meme we've created here on this channel, you already know what position I'm gonna pick. That's right, defender. Defense has always been my favorite position. Even when I played football myself, I played defense. And some of my favorite moves of all time are defensive moves. Pedro said they're going to be a wing defender, and I'm not going to lie, me and Pedro are probably going to have to stick together, because aside from him, I don't think I've seen anyone else say they're going to pick a defender. I've seen a lot of people say they're going to make a striker, I've seen quite a few say they're going to make a goalkeeper, and even less say they're going to make a midfielder. I haven't seen anyone else say they're going to make a defender. In terms of element, I think Earth fits me best, but that could be wrong. If you think something suits me better, then let me know. The downside is that there is an overabundance of Earth defenders in the series, so I'm going to need to make my character very unique or such a ridiculous powerhouse in order to stand out and represent me well. Each character has numerical stats, and we're not going to be any different most likely. According to Haku's database, stat totals range from 718 being the lowest we have, to very low 800s being the highest stat totals we currently have, specifically 806 being the maximum. But keep in mind that these are only for level 30 I believe, so level 50 is going to give us a more accurate representation of how base stats will be in the full game. But despite this, I calculated the average base stat total for level 30 currently in this beta. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone, and I even included the coaches too since they have stats themselves. I didn't include Unmei, Sakurazaki or Kisoji for the sole reason that I don't know their level 30 base stat total since we can only level them up to 8. So the overall total is 39,888, and if we divide that by 52, because that's the amount of players we have, we get 767 when rounded. Keep in mind I could have made a mistake or missed someone, so yeah, take that into account, but I'm going to use this value to distribute stats towards my player. So we have kick, technique, control, intelligence, pressure, physical and agility. We're obviously going to want a lot of pressure and physical. I'm going to be somewhat realistic with this. I'm not just going to put 700 into pressure and just call it a day. So when it comes to kick, technique, control and agility, I won't really need them as much, so I'm going to distribute as little into those as possible. So the lowest kick stat in the game currently is Sangoku and JP with 64. So I'm gonna go slightly below that and give my character a 60 in kick. That leaves us with 707 left to distribute. We're gonna jump all the way to pressure now. The highest pressure in the game is Zohan with 166, followed by Kabayama with 160. But I'm gonna go above that and give my player 184, for the sole reason that there's players like Hakuryu, Torch and Tsurugi, and more that have very high kick stats. These three specifically have 180 or more, 184 being the highest. I'd love to just give myself a fat 200 into pressure, but like I said, we're going to be realistic here to some extent. So this leaves us with 523. In terms of physical, we have Haizaki with a monstrous 138 being the highest in the beta. The only other characters that come close are Kevin and Zanark, who are off by 4 points and 2 points respectively. So I'm going to give my player 140, which is just slightly above because I feel as if that's somewhat reasonable. This leaves us with 383 left to distribute. In terms of intelligence, I think this is one of the most volatile stats in the game for defenders, if that makes sense. This only really affects interactions that are heavily determined by RNG, those being focus and scramble battles. So I don't actually know. Maybe we could do an equal split between technique and intelligence to make us quite solid at focus battle defense, even though there's still a lot of RNG involved. The highest intelligence stat currently in the beta is Coach Travis with an insane 172, followed by Nosaka in second with 144. In terms of technique, the highest is Tenma with a massive 170, followed by Kido with 160. We have 383 left, so I think it's a solid option just to put 110 into each. Since we do want to be a defensive powerhouse, meaning we will need to take defensive focus battles and scramble battles into account. This leaves us with 163 points left to allocate. In terms of agility, Coach Travis is actually the lowest in agility with a pretty atrocious 64. So I'm going to give myself a 64 in agility, and I might as well do the same with control, since I'm not going to be using these stats as much with the type of defender I want my player to be. For those wondering, Tsunami has the lowest control stat with a 70, and he's the lowest by quite a bit. He's the only character in the beta with a control stat below 86. And most players have well above 100. This leaves us with 35 points left. In terms of these 35 points, I would love to just shove them into my physical or pressure stats to make myself an even better defender. But like I said, I want this to be somewhat realistic to some extent. I think it's best if I put the rest into control. I was just going to put them into kick, but that seems kind of inferior to control. For this kind of player, kick stat is only going to affect the shot AT. However, control does affect shot AT as well, but it will also increase our focus battle AT, just in case we need to bring the ball up or get into a focus battle for some reason, or even make a shot. And that's our character. As much as I wanted to keep this realistic, this is a pretty insane stat spread for only having 767 points to distribute. Hopefully I didn't go over it. In terms of passes, we probably won't get to pick passes because that seems pretty insane, but the ones I would love to have are the ATDF buff when you have no fouls, alongside with the castle wall buff that has the same conditions. Bond power, breach, all that is strong and all, but I'd love to become more tanky and defensive, and the idea of making the entire team perform better by just existing on the field is pretty cool. In terms of moves, we have 6 slots for moves. I hope skills are not included in that. I hope passives are completely replacing skills. But instead of just picking 6 random moves, I'm only going to pick 2 in order to align more of the whole beta test theme I'm doing here. So first, I'd want Viva Banryu no Chojo. That move is just cool. I really like his animation. It's one of my favorite blocking moves of all time. I know it's a weak move nowadays, but with stats like this and the possible low tension cost for spammability, you better believe I'm gonna make it work. This is gonna come as a surprise, especially by how this video's gone up until now, but I'm definitely picking Fire Lemonade or Fire Lemonade Rising. This is up there in terms of my favorite shooting type moves of all time. I've waited years to use this move and I haven't gotten the chance to yet, so I'm making sure I use it. Some honorable mentions are Groundquake. I love that move and I guarantee you forgot it existed. Planet Shield, hopefully it's in the game because I'm gonna definitely use it if it is. And Master Stroke. Now, if you've watched this far into the video, I definitely want to hear from you. So I'm gonna give you a task. You have a base stat total of 767, just like I did. You can pick any element for your player aside from Void, for obvious reasons. And you can pick 2 moves from your player and then some honorable mentions. I want to see what kind of characters you can make. You can leave it in the comments, make your own video and tag me in it, or even ping me in it on Discord or something like that. You don't have to be realistic like I did, you could just give your players 750 kick or something stupid like that. And you don't have to give reasonings for everything either, but that stuff would be nice to read through. If enough of you do it, then maybe I'll make a follow-up video just reviewing them and going through them. Like, comment, subscribe, we're almost at 2K, so hopefully we can hit it soon. And I look forward to seeing some of your creations.